Hello again, everybody. David Clary, Lee Wexler, along with Neo Tate, live here at Clinton Fairgrounds, getting set for Oak Ridge High School baseball. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge getting set to take on the Clinton Dragons in the second game in 2 days with the Clinton Dragons. Last night, Oak Ridge knocked off Clinton 10-1 at Bobby Hopkins Field. And like a lot of teams in the state of Tennessee have done in the last several years, they play the next day so you can't face the same pitcher multiple times, and that's why they play them back-to-back. The weather is a little bit iffy right now, but hopefully we'll have a beautiful day for baseball. Lee, you've got the starting lineups for the Wildcats.
Thanks, David. Leading off is Matthew Swigert. Batting second is Caden Black. Batting third is Jacob Franklin. Batting fourth is Logan Rosenberg. Batting fifth is Alex McNaughton. Batting sixth is Caden Updegraft. Batting seventh is Bryce Ludwikowski. Batting eighth is Bryson Parks. And batting ninth is Hayden Morgan. That's the starting lineup for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. We don't have the positions written down yet, but we'll fill that in later on as we begin here.
The two head coaches are down at the home plate area with the umpires exchanging the lineups. As I mentioned, the Wildcats winning last night 10-1. Logan Rosenberger, he pitched 7 complete innings in that ball game. The Wildcats had multitude of hits in that one. Oak Ridge comes in. They lost to beat Halls in their first ball game, lost to Halls in the second ball game, went up to Kingsport Dobbins Bennett, played a close game against the Indians and lost to Tennessee I Bristol, but returned home to win yesterday, as I mentioned, against the Clinton Dragons. These are district ball games. The Wildcats are 2-1 in district play, and obviously you want to win as many district games as possible, Lee Wexler, as you get towards the meat of your schedule.
Yeah, that's right. All these ball games are important, especially at the beginning of the season. You're playing for seeding in the district tournament. All these games matter, and especially for Oak Ridge winning 10-1 last night. That's the thing about baseball is you have to play every day. You have to come out ready to play. Just because you beat someone by 9 runs one night doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing the next night. You've got to come out ready to play. You got to pitch, catch, and do everything well.
It's kind of a young team for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. There are a few seniors on the team, but actually a couple of them, the basketball guys, Jeremy Miller, Jonathan Milloway, they're actually here, but they're not going to – I was talking to them last night, and they're not going to kind of start playing baseball until Thursday, and that's a good thing. They had a long, grueling basketball season just ending this past Friday, and I think as much time as they could to get to recuperated, I guess, from what was a long, grueling season and a very physical state tournament, I think is good. And Coach Travis Free, head coach of the Oak Ridge baseball team, has really accommodated them well, and they'll be in the fold eventually, which will be good news for the Wildcats.
Yeah, if I was a coach or if I was a fan or a player, I don't know if I'd really be wanting Milloway and Miller really back in the lineup to be playing this quick anyway. I mean, you're right. They just played a physical state tournament, had a long basketball season, finishing in the Final Four. But they're here. They're going to be good teammates. They're going to cheer their team on, and like you said, they'll get back in some action. I guess later this week, as you said. So, but Oak Ridge is going to have to once again, perform well tonight without him.
Bear with us here. This will be our first attempt to stream a baseball game, and it has been a long, long time, honestly, since I called a baseball game. I have to go back, I guess, 15 years or so, but people don't know this, but baseball is my sport, actually, and I probably know more about baseball than I do the other sports combined that I do. Neo can't believe that, but it is probably the truth. Neo, what do you know about baseball?
Not a whole lot. I used to play travel baseball quite a bit, but since then, it's kind of rough. I'm a little rusty on terminology and all that, but hopefully kind of get back into the swing of things, as you call this game.
We're about to have the starting lineups, probably the national anthem here. We're live on our Prep Radio YouTube channel, and we appreciate that. We're also on Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. The Dragons are going to be wearing their all-white jerseys with orange numerals and actually black numerals and orange print. The Wildcats will be wearing their Road Cardinal jerseys with the white pants with gray trim. The Wildcats and the Clinton Dragons here. And now we're about to have the starting lineups for the Clinton Dragons. And Lee, you might want to try to write this down. I guess the lineup that we were given for the Dragons was not too clear. We're going to take a quick break here as Matthew Swigert is the first man introduced, and he is coming up and lining up on the first base line along with the other starters. It's kind of a classy way to start the ball game here. We're going to kind of take a pause here, and we'll come back with the start of this ball game. Oak Ridge and Clinton here from the Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee, on Prep Radio. Tell your friends and neighbors we are streaming Oak Ridge High School baseball tonight here from Clinton.
Number 17, Peyton. Batting 7 and playing first base, number 20, Bryce Ludwigkowski. Batting 8 behind the plate, number 9, Bryson Cox. Batting 9th for the Wildcats and playing left field, number 13, Hayden Morgan. The Wildcats are coached by head coach Travis Free and assisted by Aaron Quillen, Sam Stewart, Tyler Richardson, and Ben Peters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the starting lineup for your Clinton Dragons. Leading off and playing left field, number 3, a senior, Aaron Harrington.
What you say?
Batting second and playing shortstop, number 1, sophomore, Ethan Tinker. Batting third and behind the plate for the Dragons, number 5, freshman Alex Salthill. Batting cleanup, your Dragon designated hitter, number 22, senior Daniel Burke. Batting fifth in center field, number 9, a junior Connor. Batting 6 and pitching tonight for the Dragons, number 2, right-hander and a junior Blake Lowe. 97th and playing first base, number 34, the senior, Matt Lowe.
David Clary back here along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate at the Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee, getting set for Oak Ridge High School baseball. District action, the Wildcats and the Clinton Dragons. The Wildcats have lined up with their starting lineups and the entire team along the first base line. The Clinton Dragons, as they're introduced, are taking to the field. And they're wearing their white pinstripes, the Wildcats and their Cardinals. Last night, Lee, I know you didn't get to see the Wildcats, but they had some really sharp-looking pinstripes on last night. And I don't know if you're a uniform guy, but I thought they looked really good.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it last night, but I'm not much of a uniform guy. It's always been the thing, look good, feel good, play good. But their uniforms, once again, look good again tonight.
And we're about to have our national anthem here from Clinton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early
I apologize. I turned down the microphones. Alan Jackson was singing the national anthem, and unfortunately on YouTube, if we play any kind of recorded famous person. The copyright laws come into play, and they mute us, so we turn down the microphone. About to get set, it's going to be Matthew Swigert to lead things off for the Wildcats. Matthew is the leading hitter on the team, has come out with a fantastic beginning to his senior year. On the year, Lee, he is 10 for 15 on the year, a .667 batting average. He's knocked in 5 runs. He has 2 doubles, 2 triples. He's walked 4 times. Matthew Swigert, a .762 on base percentage. So Matthew, as a senior member, has come out strong. Also a member of the Oak Ridge High School football team, as we all know. And he'll be leading things off for the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats.
Do our first broadcast. Pitching for the Dragons is number 2, Blake Lowe. Catching for the Dragons is number 5, Alex Sawkill. Playing first is Mac Lowe. Playing second is Logan Thomas. Playing short is Ethan Tinker. Playing third is James Ebud. Playing left is Aaron Harrington. And center is Connor Moody. And right is Andrew Week. And the DH tonight for the Dragons is Daniel Burke. That's the defensive lineup for the Dragons.
And we're about to get set here. Nice crowd on hand here. We had a really, really nice crowd last night at Bobby Hopkins Field. Of course, Bobby Hopkins has kind of changed it a little bit. They've taken the first base bleachers and the third base bleachers away, so all you have is the center bleachers. And we're about to get underway here. The Wildcats and the Dragons. The rivalry dates all the way back to 1943. I don't have all the stats on that, which will make a lot of people happy there, Lee Wexler, as Matthew Swigert leads off. He's a right-handed hitting senior. As I mentioned, he bats .667 on the year, and we're about to have the first pitch of the ball game. Here it is, hit foul off to the right side and over towards the Oak Ridge dugout, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Just underway here from Clinton, Tennessee. The Wildcats will play Thursday at Fulton High School. Then on Friday, the Wildcats will travel, weather permitting, to Cookeville. Matthew back in the batter's box. No balls, 1 strike the count. Hit well, hit to left field. It's going to go over the top of the left fielder's head. It's going to go all the way to the fence. Matthew Swigert rounding first. He's heading towards second. He goes in standing with a leadoff double. Right there, the ball was hit like a shot, Lee, but the left fielder actually froze, and the ball went sailing over the top of his head.
Yeah, I don't think the left fielder took a great route for that. As an outfielder, you want your first 2 steps to be back, and credit to Swigert. He got a good piece of that ball, driving it to left field that time, David.
Now 11 for 16 on the year.
That's pretty good. Pretty good start.
That's a great start. Caden Black, a freshman, is a left-handed batter. He steps in for the Wildcats. Runner at second. Nobody out. Just underway here from Clinton, Tennessee. Shortstop kind of sneaks in behind Matthew, but no threat there. The ball is fouled back to the screen, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Looking down at the coaching staff here, the Wildcats trying to get an early run. The Wildcats hit very well last night in the win over the Dragons. Shortstop sneaks in behind Matthew once again, takes his lead off of second. No balls, 1 strike the count. Here's the pitch, in there for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. Neo Tate doing our camera work here tonight, and he's on the job learning here as well, so he'll get the hang of it, and I'm sure he already has through the first batter, as once again Caden stands back in. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second, leadoff double for the Wildcats senior, Matthew Swigert. Checks the runner, takes a good healthy lead. Here's the pitch to the plate. In there called strike 3, and that is out number 1 here in the first. So took 2 strikes. Really, really nice fastball there, and he got caught looking.
Yeah, maybe had him frozen a little bit. I don't know if he was expecting off speed that time, but 0-2 you always got to protect.
Third batter in Coach Free's lineup is Jacob Franklin. He is a sophomore. He'll be the starting pitcher in this ball game. One of his last outings, had a really nice effort against the Halls Red Devils. Was the pitcher record as Matthew Swigert is running. Here's the pass. It's going to go past the third baseman, rolling into left field, and the Wildcats are going to have their first run. So Oak Ridge gets a stolen base, and then an error by the catcher allows the run to score, and Oak Ridge has a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. So the Wildcats using their assets, which is the speed of Matthew Swigert, to swipe the base, and then a throwing error, and the Wildcats lead at 1-0. Franklin steps in, and the pitch to him is a little bit high and outside, and the count is 1-2 and no strikes. I was looking at the scoreboard. I knew that he had to have thrown a pitch to get the runner thrown down at third. Here's the pitch. Is cut on and fouled back to the screen. And it's now 2-1 strike. On deck for the Wildcats, number 4, junior Logan Rosenberger. As I mentioned earlier, he pitched 7 strong innings yesterday. Pitched 13 innings for the Wildcats. Jacob stands in for Oak Ridge on the season as the pitch to him is a little bit low, and the count is now 3-1 strike. Jacob Franklin is 2 for 16 on the year, an average of 188 on the year. He has knocked in 4 runners. And here's the pitch to him. It's hit on the ground to the pitcher on 3 hops, goes under his glove, and it's going to be a Franklin reaching base on the error by the pitcher. We hit him right between the legs, and he just let it go under his glove. And once again, Franklin is on base, and the Wildcats have yet another base runner.
Yeah, I think he just maybe got it off the fist a little bit. It was a slow roller back to the pitcher, and it just went right underneath his glove. And good hustle that time by Jacob Franklin to get down the line, and Oak Ridge has a base runner on first.
And Rosenberger steps in, as I mentioned. He is 2 of 16 on the year, hitting from the right side. Logan is a junior player. His mother was a Lady Wildcat back in the day. As Rosenberger steps in once again, runner at first. Might have a courtesy runner for the pitcher, and they're going to throw over, and indeed, back he goes. At first is Mitchell Gibbons. Mitchell Gibbons, the Wildcats had a booming double last night in the win over the Clinton Dragons. He's the courtesy runner for Franklin. Takes a very short lead off of first. 1 out here in the first. The Wildcats have a run in. Mitchell is going. Here comes the pitch. It goes all the way back to the screen, and Mitchell goes in standing. So the Wildcats once again have a runner in scoring position, taking advantage of mistakes early on, Lee, by the Clinton Dragons.
Yeah, that time the ball got away from the pitcher Blake Lowe, and Gibbons is able to advance to second. Oak Ridge has a man in scoring position. Let's see if they can drive in another run right here.
Alex McNaughton is on deck for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge with yet another runner in scoring position. Gibbons takes his lead. The pitch bounces away once again, and Mitchell is going to go all the way to third. That had to be a pass ball. Hit him right in the glove there, Lee. I mean, and that's a couple back-to-back mistakes by the Clinton catcher.
Yeah, that's going to be a pass ball. I mean, if the ball hits the catcher in the glove and gets by, that's going to be a pass ball. So men on third here with 1 out, and Oak Ridge looks to be money right here if they can get this run in.
1-0 our score. 2 balls, no strikes. Mitchell Gibbons is the courtesy runner at third. The pitch to the plate is cut on and foul tipped. And the count is now 2-1 strike. We are broadcasting on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We're also on Oak Ridge Schools Television, Channel 15. Thanks for tuning us in. This is our first attempt to stream a baseball game. Hopefully we'll have several more as the pitch comes in. It's high and tight, almost hit him in the elbow, and Rosenberger has a 3-1 strike count. We're also, tomorrow at 7 o'clock on BBB Channel 12, we'll have our first Covering the Bases show, and that'll be on Channel 12. We'll have Coach Travis Free for an hour and a couple seniors as well. Here's the pitch in there for a called strike, and we've got a full count. Mitchell Gibbons takes his lead off the third. Short lead. The Wildcats already have plated a run. Rosenberger stands in. The pitch to him is down low, and gets away again, and Mitchell Gibbons is going to come in and score. So another bad pitch and catcher let it get past him, and Mitchell comes all the way around to score, and Oak Ridge has a 2-0 lead, and Rosenberger takes the walk, and he's down at first base.
Yeah, good at bat that time. Stayed patient and took a walk that time, and the ball got away from the catcher, which allowed Gibbons to score from third, and it's 2-0 here quickly.
Alex McNaughton, the batter now. Alex comes in at 2 for 14 on the year, 143. Averages at this stage of the year don't really matter that much. They've had very few at-bats here. They've faced some really good players. That pitch comes in, and it's a called strike. No balls, 1 strike the count. Live here from Clinton on YouTube. Rosenberger will take his lead off of first and quickly throws over, and back safely he goes. He hadn't really taken much of a lead off the bag. Wildcats wearing their Cardinal jerseys with gray numerals. The Dragons wearing their white pinstripes, black and orange. Quick throw once again to first, and Logan is back safely to the bag at first base. Oak Ridge trying to go 3-1 in the district. Oak Ridge is 2-1 with their victory over Halls in their first district ball game, and their victory over Clinton once again over to first.
Yeah, that's about 3 pickoffs in a row we've seen by the pitcher for Clinton. I always hated that, getting thrown over there many times as a base runner. It's never comfortable. You have to dive back in, and your uniform gets dirty, though. That's one thing.
Here's the pitch hit foul over towards the Clinton dugout. And the count now is no balls and 2 strikes. The Wildcats have put 2 on the board here in the top half of the first inning. Here in our first attempt to stream a ball game here from on this pandemic year. First baseball game that we've ever done live for sure. We've done some radio games in the past. Rosenberger takes his lead. No balls, 2 strikes the count. McNaughton back in for the Wildcats. Right-handed hitter. He is another junior part of this Wildcat team. Rosenberger is going. Strikeout swinging. Here comes the throw, and that is a stolen base for Logan Rosenberger. And then they're going to say, I believe, catcher's interference. I believe. Lee, what you say? I didn't see.
Well, Rosenberger decided he took off. He stole second, but I mean it's a tough call for the umpire, as McNaughton's going to strike out. But since the throw down, the batter McNaughton got in the way or interfered with the throw, and they're going to call obstruction on McNaughton. So they're going to call Rosenberg out a second. So I guess you can say 2 for 1 that time. They're going to get 2 outs, a strikeout, and they're going to call obstruction at second base. So Oak Ridge is only going to get 2 runs here, David.
Yeah, and only the benefit of 1 base hit in the inning. And the Wildcats leave nobody on base, so we've played 1/2 inning here from the fairgrounds. Oak Ridge on top, 2-0. And we'll be back with the bottom half of the first inning in a moment. David Clary back here along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate. Christian Rosas Rodriguez was here for a moment. As we get to the bottom half of the first inning, the Wildcats are on top by a score of 2-0. Leading things off for the Clinton Dragons will be the left fielder Aaron Harrington. He'll be facing Logan Franklin. Logan comes in at 1-1 on the year. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. He's walked 2. He's hit 6 batters, struck out 6. His ERA is 4.0. A bunt attempt, and it goes foul off to the left side. One thing you'll notice about Logan here is or Jacob, I mean, Jacob Franklin he doesn't throw with great velocity, but he really does a great job keeping the batters off strike.
Oh, yeah, off balance. One thing I've noticed out of Franklin here is his ball movement. I think he drops his elbow down a little bit, and I think if he does what I think he'll do, he'll get hitters off balance and get them get their timing messed up. Hopefully, it'll be effective for him.
He's a right-handed throwing sophomore. The pitch to the plate, the infield was in. It's fielded by Franklin. Nice, convenient hop, and he throws on the first in time for out number 1. So a nice little convenient hop. The infield grass here, it's a little spotty. The outfield looks great out there, but the infield looks a little patchy right there here in the early spring. But took a nice convenient hop, and the third baseman was in as well. Could have been either one of them that fielded that, but Franklin does, and he throws on for the first out of the inning. Number 2 hitter for the Dragons is Ethan Tinker. He will be playing shortstop for them, or did play shortstop in the top half. And first pitch is a called strike. No balls, 1 strike the count. 1 out here on the bottom of the first inning, 2-0. The Wildcats in the lead as we broadcast here on YouTube. Pearl Neo's going to have to stand for a while here. His back's going to be sore through 7 innings of baseball. And there's a called strike. So quickly, Jacob Franklin ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, nice job by Franklin to pepper in strikes. Nice job of getting ahead here.
We'll set the defense for you here in a moment for the Wildcats. No balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Hit on the ground, right back to Franklin once again. Fields it cleanly, throws on to first, and that is out number 2. So 2 comebackers. Lee Wexler, as a pitcher, you've been in that position before. Back-to-back outs there for the sophomore Wildcat.
Yeah, not many people know this, but I mean the pitcher still has some. Pitcher's part of the defense as well, and nice 2 good back-to-back plays there by Franklin, staying calm, fielding the ground balls, and making nice throws over to first. 2 quick outs. Sometimes you just got to do everything by yourself as a pitcher playing defense.
Catcher batting now for the Clinton Dragons, and he hits the ball on the ground, foul, just outside the third base line, rolling down the left field line. No balls and 1 strike. 2-0 our score here. Iffy skies here. Lee Wexler. And I know Neo remembers the West football game very well as we sat through a really nice weather, and then all of a sudden the sky let loose, and that pitch is high, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kind of exposed here a little bit too. Hopefully this rain, I don't know if it's going to rain, but it sure doesn't look too pretty over towards Oak Ridge. Pitch to the plate, hit on the ground, this time to the shortstop. Rosenberger fields it, throws on the first in time for out number 3. So a quick and easy inning for Jacob Franklin. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the top half of the second inning. The Wildcats on top of the Dragons, 2-0. We'll be back to Clinton in a moment. Welcome back once again to Clinton, Tennessee. And Lee, yes, I do know the difference between second base and shortstop. I'm just trying to get settled into calling this baseball game here. I've been watching basketball and football, but Rosenberger on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, and I see that we have about 50 people watching right now, which is a little unusual. We didn't really advertise it at all, And we appreciate you, U50. We just lost our picture here, though. We have nothing but color bars. And so it'll be Oak Ridge coming to the plate, leading things off here in the second inning will be the junior Caden Updegraft. Caden has had a pretty good game. His first ball game back yesterday. Caden steps in. He's a right-handed hitting junior. 1 for 3 yesterday in his first ball game. And the first pitch to Caden is in there for a called strike. Lowe, the pitcher for the Blake Lowe, the pitcher for the Clinton Dragons. Down 2-0 here as we play here in the second inning. Caden steps back in. The pitch is hit on the ground down the line. That's going to be in for a base hit. Rounding first and heading towards second, Caden Updegraft, and he's going to go in with a standoff up double. So back-to-back leadoff man in the first inning. It was Matthew Swigert. Here in the second inning, it's Caden Updegraft, and the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, Updegraft, he kind of hit that ball maybe off the handle a little bit, but he found a good spot to the left side, or right side of the 5 hole that time. And then once again, we have another leadoff double here for Oak Ridge.
And the Wildcats now, Bryce Lodakowski, he's the junior playing first base for Oak Ridge. Right-handed hitter. Let's see what Bryce has done here as Caden takes his lead off of second, just fresh off the basketball team, and he takes one inside. 4 for 14 on the year, batting .286, has walked 1 time, hasn't recorded an RBI, has scored a couple runs for the Wildcats, playing first base for the Wildcats. He's a junior, right-handed hitter. Updegraft takes his lead off of second. Lowe checks the runner back at second. Long look to the plate. Low and outside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Wind's kind of picked up here. It's kind of blowing in from right to home plate, and the dark skies towards Oak Ridge. If anybody in Oak Ridge listening, might want to tell me if it's raining in that direction. Hopefully not, as they're going to throw back to try to get Caden, and he's back easily.
Yeah. David, I don't know about you, but these clouds don't look too promising. You brought up that West game last fall, and I don't think it was supposed to rain tonight, but hopefully rain will hold off. I don't think there's supposed to be any rain, but who knows?
Nobody out here. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Updegraft takes his lead off of second base. On deck for the Wildcats, Bryson Parks. Nobody out here. Here's another quick throw, and caught him. Let's see, and he got back just safely. Great throw back there. Caden was leaning towards third and just barely got back under the tag.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if he was planning on stealing that time. They definitely had him leading, and it was a close play over there, but he got back in time.
Updegraft takes his lead once again. Nobody out. Once again, the second baseman comes sneaking in behind. Coach Free barking out instructions to the Wildcats. Once again, they check the runner, and the 2-0 pitch is hit off the end of the bat. It's going to roll foul, and the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike. Barely got a piece of it, just went foul.
Yeah, it almost looked like a cue shot. It landed fair and then rolled foul, so he'll get another shot here as counts 2-1.
One of the treats always when you come over to Clinton to any kind of a ball game is to see Freddie Fagan. He could run for mayor in this town and win. He's been a fixture of Clinton athletics for a long, long time. Updegraft, once again, they throw back, and this time he goes back standing. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count. 2-0 is our score. Oak Ridge and the Clinton Dragons. Oak Ridge trying to sweep the season series with Clinton. An unadvertised ball game, and we're up to 56 viewers there. Lee Wexler.
That's pretty good, David. I didn't know how many we were going to have, but that's pretty good.
We didn't really advertise it that much as that pitch is down low. Nice stop that time by the catcher. And the count now is 3 balls and 1 strike. As I mentioned, on deck for the Wildcats, Bryson Parks. Bryson is a junior. Plays catcher for the most part for the Wildcats. Caden Updegraft, junior, takes his lead. Caden, really good start here. Now hitting .500, 2 for 4 in first 2 ball games back from basketball. The pitch is going to be a called strike at the knees on the corner, and the count is full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're streaming the game live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate you watching. our broadcast. We're also on Oak Ridge Schools Television, Channel 15 right now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch from low is cut on foul back to the screen. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good at bat here by Ludwikowski, making the pitcher work. He's going to make him throw 7 pitches here. So let's see if Ludwikowski can get Updegraft from second to third, or hopefully score him here to increase the Oak Ridge Wildcat lead.
Wildcats have a 2-0 lead here as we bat here in the top half of the second inning. Once again, Bryce stands back in. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Low of the plate, hit foul. Our way and over the top and out of play. Been a while since I actually caught one, Lee, and it was coming back my way.
Well, David, we should have brought our gloves. I didn't know we would be in foul ball territory here, but David, you might have to make a barehanded play here. You might have to protect me, or I'll have to protect you from foul balls, or maybe Neo can save you.
Neo's the receiver on the football team. He's got the good hand. So as the Wildcat stands back in, first baseman, another quick throw back, and Caden Updegraft is back. His twin brother Jameson, obviously a member of the basketball team, does not play baseball, and he made it clear that Caden did that baseball was his sport, and Jameson played basketball, and they both played basketball. And we got a 3-ball, 2-strike count. 2-0 our score. Runner going. Here's a called strike 3, and in standing with a stolen base is Caden Updegraft. So the Wildcats have a runner at third now with 1 out. So Lowe has been, he's either struck out Wildcats or he's given up a hit or an error in this one.
Yeah, I mean, what that tells me is just put the ball in play, good things happen.
Bryson Park steps in for the Wildcats. The first pitch to him, inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Bryson comes in, 2 of 8 on the year. Got injured in the first Halls ball game, got caught one in the throat and sat out the second game. 2 for 8 on the year, 250 batting average, has knocked in 3 runs on the year, has a double, and his on-base percentage is 500, and he's walked twice. Ball 2 as that one comes in. Runner at third is Caden Updegraft. He reached on a leadoff double for the Wildcats. He's at third. Low the pitcher for the Clinton Dragons. 2-0 Oak Ridge. Bryson stands in. The pitch to him is down low. Gets away from the catcher, but not far enough for Caden to make an attempt. Just kind of bounced away. I know in the baseball field that you played in high school in Murfreesboro, Lee, the field itself is an artificial surface. Here at Clinton, the area just around the home plate area is artificial.
Yeah, I noticed that right when I got in, and the grass seems a little choppy here all around the field, but yeah, you're right. Artificial surface and grass, they're completely 2 different surfaces for playing baseball on. It's a completely different game almost.
High strike there called against Parks on the 3-0 pitch. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That's ball 4. And Caden's going to come in and try to attempt. Hit a little bit of a hesitation, cost him. And the ball bounced away from the catcher, hit the brick wall, and bounced right back to him. And he hesitated about halfway down the line, and that's what cost him.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough play for Updegraft. I mean, the ball got away. It's not a big backstop here. It's a short backstop, and I think that hesitation probably hurt Updegraft that time. But so 2 down so far.
Senior Hayden Morgan stands in for the Wildcats here. And right-handed hitter now. Runner first. We got another courtesy runner in the ballgame. I think it might be Joey Weston. I can't see his number from here. And if you'll write those down for me, the courtesy runners as well. I think what's that? It is number 19. It is Joey Weston. He's a sophomore player. He's the runner at first, and the pitch is cut on and foul tipped. Let's see what Hayden has done on the year. Hayden steps into this one looking for his statistics here. He is 2 for 9 on the year, 222 average. Hasn't knocked in anybody. Had a kind of an unusual event last night. I'll talk about that after this pitch. No balls, 1 strike the count. Weston off of first. The pitch hits him, and down the first he goes. And the Wildcats will have runners at first and second now with 2 outs. You know, it happens a lot here, but last night in the 7th inning, in the bottom of the 7th inning, he recorded all 3 outs in the outfield to win the ball game. Doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And, sometimes what we used to say is, the game or the ball has a way of finding you. So sometimes you have to do everything. And, you got to be ready when the ball's coming at you.
So back to the top of the order we go to Matthew Swigert. He led off the I remember, Lee, wasn't that long ago. Lee's questioning my memory, and we're only into the second inning. He a leadoff double to left, and he swings and foul tips this one, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. So the Wildcats have runners at first and second right now with 2 outs, leading 2-0 as the Wildcats bat here in the top of the second inning. Right-handed low. Checks the runner first. That is Hayden. Takes his lead. Hayden Morgan. Joey Weston off of second. The pitch to Swigert is inside. Looked like a breaking pitch that caught the inside corner, but maybe a little bit low. And the count is even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pretty decent crowd on hand here. Not as big a crowd as we had last night at Bobby Hopkins in Oak Ridge. As the pitch to Matthew Swigert is a called strike at the knees. And the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. We are streaming this game live currently on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. If any Dragon fans watching here, welcome to our broadcast here. Any Wildcat fans, thanks for joining us here. Weston takes his lead off of second, off of first. Hayden Morgan, the pitch to Swigert, and here comes a quick throw down the third, and a double steal by the Wildcats as Weston goes into third and Morgan goes into second. So the Wildcats have a couple of runners now in scoring position, but a 1 ball, 2 strike count, I believe, a 2 ball, 2 strike count on Matthew Swigert. Matthew, as we mentioned, had a double on the season. He has knocked in 5 runs. Leading hitter on the team to this point, and he hits the ball foul our way once again and off the aluminum roof of the building directly behind the stands here. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Low working quickly. Runners at second and third. Wildcats have Caden Black on deck. Strikeout victim back in the first inning. And the 2-2 pitch to Matthew is high. And the count full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, another double would be nice here. That would double the Oak Ridge lead to 4-0. Let's see if Swigert can get something good to hit here.
11 for 16 on the year. Incredible start for the senior. Wildcat football player as well. The pitch to him is hit on the ground weakly to the third baseman. He's got some speed. He better hurry. Here's the throw on the first, just in time to retire the side. The Wildcats get some base runners, and they leave 2 stranded. So we go to the bottom half of the second inning here at the Fairgrounds in Clinton, Tennessee, and the Wildcats lead the Dragons 2-0. We'll be back to Clinton in a moment. Welcome back once again to Clinton, Tennessee. Our YouTube stream as the rain begins to fall here at Clinton. You know, it's just one of those things. You can't count on the weather, man. I don't think they said it was going to rain. It's not raining hard for sure, but hopefully we'll just continue on. Hopefully we won't have a repeat of West. I'll talk to Neo about that. As what do you remember most about the West ball game, Neo? Member of the Oak Ridge football team?
Well, this was a good game. It was a really good game. But as we've talked about previously, just now, is the weather kicked in. It was very bad, just out of nowhere, out of the blue sky. Then all of a sudden, dark gray clouds just rolled in, and hopefully we don't see that tonight.
We got a 2-ball, no strike count on the leadoff man, Daniel Burke. He's the designated hitter in this one, and there's a called strike at the knees, and count now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Oak Ridge. The Wildcats scoring 2 in the first inning with the benefit of only 1 hit in that one. Some mistakes by the catcher of the Dragons, and the pitch is hit on the ground, this time to the shortstop. That's Caden Black. He fields it and then can't come up with it. So the freshman made a good play on the ball there, Lee, but as the freshman tried to transfer it to his throwing hand, just kind of lost the handle on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weak ground ball, and was going to have to field it and get rid of it quick as a base runner that time. Got down the line quick. Yeah, I think you're right. He just lost it on transition that time. But let's see if Franklin can get another ground ball here and they can roll 2.
Number 5 hitter in their lineup steps in. That is Connor Moody. He is playing center field, and his mother was a former Lady Wildcat basketball player. As the pitch to him is a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to count. 2-0 our score. The Dragons have their first base runner, and he reaches base on the fielding error by the Wildcats. No balls, 1 strike. Jacob Franklin on the hill for the Wildcats. The pitch to the plate, outside, and the count is even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Just a light sprinkle here, and actually it looks like it is kind of brightening up a little bit towards Oak Ridge, so hopefully this will pass over. And if not, we can take Neo's sweatshirt here and cover all the equipment with it. There's a swinging strike. Foul tipped into the mitt of the catcher, Bryson Parks, and the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was an effective off-speed pitch that time, David. He got Moody to chase. That ball had to have been in the left-hander's batter's box, so good off-speed pitch that time by Franklin.
Runner takes his lead off of first, a very short lead for the Dragon, and they're going to throw over, and he was probably only maybe a step and a half off the bag at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Oak Ridge and Clinton, we've talked about in all sports, a rivalry dating all the way back to 1943, when the first time the teams played in probably all sports, as the pitch is cut on, fouled back to the screen, and runner at first had second base, but the batter fouled it back, and the count remains at 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think for Oak Ridge's sake, I think they're lucky Moody got a piece of that, because that got away from the catcher, and Burke standing on first for Clinton had second base stolen, so probably Oak Ridge gets lucky there that he foul tipped that, and we'll redo it here at 1 and 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to the plate, cut on. That's a strike. He asked for help. I would ask for help on that. I thought he took a swing at it. Catcher doesn't ask for help there, and the count's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think he took a swing at it, Lee, but I'm biased.
Well, I mean, it was close from our angle. We have a good angle. I mean, it was close, but I mean, if you don't check, then you can't help yourself. So count's going to be 2-2 here.
Short lead off of first, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here. Dragons down. Here's a quick throw over, and once again back safely goes the Dragon base runner. I've seen a lot of great ball games here. One of the interesting aspects of the outfield and center field, and I've played on this field back in the dark ages, Lee, but I'll tell that old story in a minute, as the pitch is just a little bit high and outside, and the count is now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know if you can tell from here, but in center field, it kind of slopes up as it goes to the center field wall.
I mean, it's almost a mountain out there. It's a big slope, not a big field, but yeah, you're right. The dark ages, that must have been a long time ago, as you were talking about.
Outside ball 4, so after a 1-2-3 first inning, the Wildcats in a little bit of trouble here. Runners at first and second. Jacob Franklin had an easy first inning lead, but here in the second inning, and that, I guess that looking at his pitching statistics, he has had some control issues. He doesn't just overpower you, and he has to rely on the corners. And runners at, of course, the error didn't help too. Runners at first and second now. And the batter squares to bunt, and he bunts it right in the air. It's caught by the pitcher, and they throw back to first, but he throws it away. And that's going to allow the runners to get to second and third. The runner's rounding third, and here comes the throw to the plate, and he is going to be safe. And into third will go the base runner. So the Wildcats get the out on the bunt attempt, but the throwing error to try to catch the runner back at first base eludes, and there is a lot of foul ground here on the first base side, and one run scored, and the other runner all the way around to third.
Well, it was originally a good effort by Franklin to get off the mound and catch the bunt attempt that was popped up. He caught it, and he had a play at first. He just threw it away down the right field line, and a run will come all the way around to score, and Moody will advance to third. So not what Franklin wanted to do that time, as that first pitch is fouled off.
No balls, one strike, the count. Runner at third. He is the tying run. Oak Ridge on top, 2-1 as we play here at the Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee. Batter stands in. This is low, I believe. Stands in. Looking at the runners here. I'm trying to check my roster here. That is the case. The first baseman low. Runner at third.
We have a Blake Lowe and a Mac Lowe. Blake Lowe is the pitcher, and Mac Lowe is playing first. This is Mac Lowe batting right now, David.
And the pitch to the plate is a called strike at the knees. One thing that I really like the way Jacob Franklin, he keeps the ball low most of the time. Like I said, he's not going to overpower you, but he has really good accuracy, and he keeps the ball down, which is a big help for him. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. The pitch, there's a breaking pitch. Oh, man. That was a good one, and they call it a ball. And the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that was a ball, David. That must have been just inside. That looked good from here, but not a bad 1-2 off-speed pitch that time by Franklin. Let's see if they can get maybe a strikeout or a pop-out or something here to keep that run from third from scoring.
Runner at third. Once again, the Wildcats on top 2-1 here. The first run obviously scored, reached on an error as the rain begins to fall a little harder here. Pitch to the plate, and it's outside. And the count is full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We're approaching 100 viewers right now, Lee. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. We didn't even really advertise it that much as the pitch is cut on and fouled back to the screen. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. High school baseball doesn't get any better. I love Major League Baseball. Lee, I know you like college baseball, but I think high school baseball, not the same quality, but it's great to see high school kids out enjoying the game that we love here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to the plate is hit foul. On top of the press box area, hits the top of the concession stand, rolls off, and is tracked down by 3 little future Dragons who are playing behind the press box there. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2-1 our score. The Wildcats on top here. Runner at third. The pitch is hit well to the third baseman. He catches it, steps on the bag. That is a double play. Really, really nice play by Caden Updegraff. It was a line drive, hit right to Caden. He quickly tagged the bag, and that is a double play. Great play by Caden.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Lowe for Clinton got a nice piece of the barrel that time and lined it right at Caden over there at third, and he steps on the bag to get the double play, so Oak Ridge escapes trouble there as Clinton was threatening, but not a bad inning from Franklin. Had to work around an error and a walk.
So we go to the top of the third inning. The Wildcats still in the lead 2-1. We'll be back in a moment. We're back once again to the Clinton Fairgrounds here. We go to the top of the third inning. The Wildcats on top by a score of 2-1. Leading things off for the Wildcats will be Caden Black, freshman. Playing shortstop for the Wildcats here. Squares to bunt, takes a strike. No balls, one strike the count. On deck will be Jacob Franklin, the Wildcat hurler. So an unearned run in the second inning. Played it by the Dragons, and it's 2-1. No balls, one strike. Black stands back in, and Lowe comes to the plate. The pitch is high. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wildcats Thursday will be at Fulton. Then on Friday, the Wildcats will be traveling to Cookeville to take on the Cavaliers. Weather doesn't look so good for Thursday and Friday, but they said that it was going to be good weather here as the pitch is hit foul back to the screen. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, David, I really didn't see any rain on the forecast, but I mean, I haven't looked since probably before noon, and it is sprinkling. It's sprinkling a little harder here. Our stuff's a little exposed, but hopefully we're praying that it lets up here at Clinton.
Caden stands in. He took a called third strike. His first plate appearance. Pitch to the plate is going to be high and outside, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. What I think we need to do, guys, is probably ask somebody in the concession stand for a plastic bag or 2. That might be something we need to do. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is hit in the air, foul. Overall, out of play, well out of play. Off the outside of the park, bounces on the road and rolls into somebody's yard. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. My name is David Cleary, along with Lee Wexler. Neo Tate's with us here. We're at Clinton, and it's 2-1. The Wildcats in the lead here, trying to sweep the season series with the Dragons. Oak Ridge won 10-1 yesterday. Bobby Hopkins Field. Caden Black back in. Here's the pitch on the inside corner at the knees, and that is a called strike 3. So a couple called strikeouts for Caden Black. And the batter for the Wildcats will be Jacob Franklin. And that is really cool. So this won't mean anything to you, Lee, but at the end, on the PA, they had the voice of Freddie Fagan saying, "You out?" Anybody who's been to a Clinton baseball game knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's really cool. As we're going to try to find some garbage bags here to keep our equipment dry. Here's the pitch hit on the ground to the shortstop. Convenient hop for him. He throws on the first in time to retire Jacob Franklin for out number 2. So Franklin is retired. The batter now will be Logan Rosenberger. Rosenberger, what did he do in his first plate appearance?
Rosenberger walked and was part of that strikeout, throw him out of second base with, I guess, the batter's interference, as Neo has returned with some bags.
And Rosenberger steps in. 2-1 is our score here as he steps in. 2 outs. The pitch is cut on a miss on a high heat, kind of shoulder level, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. I just don't believe it's going to rain super hard here, but we just have to be careful with the computer. We'll get to it at the end of the half inning as the pitch is a called strike at the knees, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. So after a shaky first inning, Lowe has kind of settled down here. That didn't have a lot of help from his defense as well in that first inning. Wildcats still in the lead, 2-1. The sign, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Logan. Called strike 3, and that is out number 3. So we go to the bottom half of the third inning. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top of the Dragons, 2-1. We're on YouTube on our Prep Radio channel. We appreciate you watching our broadcasts. It might be on channel 15 you're watching. Take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Clinton, Tennessee. We go to the bottom half of the third inning. Oak Ridge on top of the Dragons, 2-1. Leading things off for the Dragons will be Logan Thomas, the second baseman. And he's the number 8 hitter in their lineup, so he'll be 8-9-1 for the Wildcats. Pitching still on the hill for Oak Ridge is Jacob Franklin, sophomore. Gave up an unearned run in the last inning. The pitch to the plate is a called strike on the corners. He has a very liberal strike zone, but I'll give both pitchers credit. They've been around the plate throughout the ballgame.
Yeah, they have, David. And if you want to be successful, it's important to throw strikes early, as both pitchers have seemed to find themselves a groove here.
Cut on and missed, and the count is now 0-2 strikes. As I mentioned, number 8 hitter, Logan Thomas. He is the second baseman. I was looking at their roster here, and I don't recognize any of the basketball guys or many of the football guys on the Clinton roster as the pitch is hit foul over the top of the on-deck circle, and the count remains at 0-2 strikes. Well, the Clinton people, and let me tell you about it, the Clinton people have been so helpful to set up our broadcast here. We're broadcasting from the bleachers here, but we had to run a long extension cord. I'll come back to that. There's a swinging strikeout of Logan Thomas, and that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the third inning. But we had to run a long extension cord and through traffic area, and the Clinton people found us a place, and they actually taped down our extension cord so nobody would trip. And really, really helpful people here tonight at Clinton, and we appreciate them. We also received a Walmart bag here, which is covering up our computer. Neo did the honors there and tracked that down. We're probably going to have to get something else because it is raining a little bit harder here. 1 ball, no strikes to count. The pitch to the plate is another called strike at the knees. This is the number 9 hitter, their third baseman. Top of the order, and Aaron Harrington on deck for the Dragons. 2-1 our score. Light rain falling here in Clinton. That's why it's gotten dark on your TV screen as that pitch is fouled back to the screen. Wildcats scored 2 runs. There are only 2 runs in the first inning. And the Dragons scored in the second. Franklin, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Hit on the ground, past him, fielded by Caden, fields it on 2 hop throws on the first, but I believe not in time for the out. So Caden kind of fielded it, and then it kind of dropped to his feet, and it's a leadoff, or the number 2 guy reaching base here with 1 out.
That was a tough play for Kane. It was a slow roller. He had to come charging, and it just tips off his glove. He was able to pick it up, but he wasn't able to fire it over to first to get the runner out in time. As we're back to the top of the order here, David.
And Harrington led off, hit one right back to the pitcher for the first out, recorded in the bottom of the first. So they've got the tying run aboard, and a quick throw over, and back safely he goes. The pitcher for the Wildcats, as we mentioned, is Jacob Franklin. He's a sophomore. Pitched score of 2-0. And leading things off for the Wildcats will be junior Alex McNaughton. He'll step in against Lowe here. So Wildcats on top 2-1. Kind of windy day here. Light rain falling. And here's the pitch to the plate, and it's down low a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Lee, what did Alex do in his first at bat?
Alex went down. He struck out swinging.
Stands in here. 1 ball, no strikes to count. 2-1 Oak Ridge. Pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Broadcasting here from the bleachers here. Seems like every time we try to do something like, broadcasts outside, this happens. Raining as the pitch is a called strike at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. 4th inning, a little bit different kind of a ball game than we had last night. The Wildcats jumped on the Dragons early in that ball game and won 10-1. Much closer, obviously, and that one goes inside. And 3 balls and 1 strike to count. The Wildcats, first couple innings, had their leadoff man on with doubles. Matthew Swigert and Caden Updegraff. Wildcats trying to get their leadoff man on here in the 4th inning. 3 balls, 1 strike the count. We're going to have to, there's a called strike, and the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Starting to rain a little bit harder here, guys. And the wind's blowing a bit. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. The pitch is swung on, foul tipped into the mid, and that is a swinging strikeout. So Alex McNaughton goes down, and the batter now will be Caden Updegraff. Caden doubled his first plate appearance here. Let's see. We're probably going to need to cover the camera just a bit with something. And I guess that'll be our only shot there. Maybe even the bag there as we're Wildcats. Caden fouls it back to the screen, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. The skies don't look that bad, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like we're going to have like thunderstorms or anything, but it is raining pretty good here right now. Our equipment is out in the elements as that pitch is a called strike as well. And the count now is...
David, I think you may have jinxed us. This is turning into the West ball game.
Pitch is cut on a miss, and Caden goes down on high heat. And that's out number 2 here in the 4th inning. And the batter for the Wildcats will be the first baseman, Bryce Ludakowski. What did he do in his first?
Ludakowski struck out looking.
So Lowe's really done a really good job since the first inning. As I mentioned, he didn't get a whole lot of help from his defense, but has really done a good job as that pitch is down low and skips away from the plate. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Catcher Bryson Parks is on deck for the Wildcats, but there are 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Wildcats in a 2-1 ball game. Neo Tate, he's never going to come back again. Having to sit out in the rain here as that pitch is high, perhaps a little outside, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. We're at the fairgrounds. It's always great to see Clinton's Freddie Fagan in attendance. We'll get a shot of him in a moment. 3 balls, no strikes to count. As I mentioned, catcher Bryson Parks is on deck. The Wildcats trying to get a base runner here with 2 outs in a 2-1 ball game. We broadcast here from Clinton. That pitch is high and inside, and on 4 straight, Wildcat first baseman is down to first with a 2-out walk. And here comes Parks, and I never was a catcher, never even put on the gear, but he kept his gear on, and because there was 2 outs in the inning, but he's going to have to throw all that off and put it back on, whatever happens after this at bat. And were you ever a catcher, Lee?
No, David. I never caught in my high. I was an outfielder, and I also pitched back in my younger days, I will say.
You're so old.
I'm only 20 years old, I think. Yeah, I'm 20.
Hopefully we're still on the air. We're trying to deal with the elements here as that pitch is fouled back to the screen. And the count now is no balls and 1 strike. We got 2 outs, runner at first. Broadcasting on YouTube here from Clinton. David Clary along with Lee Wexler, our first attempt to do a baseball game. And it just figures it is raining. And here's a quick throw to first, and right on the money is the tag. Safely on deck for Oak Ridge is Hayden Morgan for the Wildcats, but there is 2 outs, no balls, 1 strike. Catcher Bryson Parks back in. Low checks the runner at first and comes to the plate. Pitches high. And the count is even now, 1-1 strike. You know, in an electrical storm, standing in and sitting in metal bleachers probably wouldn't be the wisest thing to do. But it doesn't look like we're going to have that kind of problem. We do have really kind of a fierce wind going on here. Count is now 2 balls and 1
I was
strike.
going to say, we're starting to hold on for dear life here. The wind's starting to pick up here at Clinton.
Back safely goes the Wildcat first baseman. And the count remains at 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here. Runner at first, 2-1, Oak Ridge in the lead. So we play here in Clinton. The Wildcats trying to sweep the season series. That pitch is at the knees on the outside corner. And the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Been a while since I did baseball. I was trying to remember how long it had been. But it's fun to be calling Oak Ridge baseball again. As that pitch is hit on the ground. Two out here. Plate appearance.
Hayden was hit by a pitch and stole a base his last time.
Stands in here. The pitch to him is at the belt, a called strike, and the count is 0 balls and 1 strike. Top of the order, Matthew Swigert on deck for the Wildcats, but somehow Hayden has to reach base here. 0 balls, 1 strike. Runners at second and third. The Wildcats in a 2-1 ball game here on the top of the 4th. Pitches low and outside, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. There is a scheduled junior varsity contest after this game, and I see a lot of those guys in attendance here rolling into the fairgrounds here at Clinton. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swigert on deck for the Wildcats. Pitch to Hayden is hit on the ground, past the pitcher, takes a funny hop, and he's going to reach base safely, and the Wildcats are going to play to run. Once the ball got past the mound, Lee, there was no way in the world they were going to track down the Wildcats, Hayden Morgan, and the Wildcats were up 3-1.
Yeah, he didn't hit it too hard. The ball got just past low, the pitcher for Clinton, and it just landed behind the mound in no man's land. It's a tough play for the shortstop and the second baseman to make, and Hayden Morgan legs out. It looks like they're going to charge him an error. I don't know if it was going to be a hit or an error. That's a tough call, but regardless,
I'm gonna give him a hit. I mean,
it's tough. An error. I think Lowe maybe could have made that play. So
he didn't. We're going to give him a hit.
We're going to give him a hit because we're going to be nice.
Hey, we're biased to the home to our home team, the Cardinal. As Matthew Swigert steps in, the Wildcats have runners now at first and third here. Weston is the courtesy runner down at third, and Matthew had a double to lead off the ball game. Came in to score the Wildcats' first run. Stands in here. Runners at first and third. 3-1 Oak Ridge. The pitch to him is high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. The good news is, guys, I think it's kind of let up just a little bit.
Well, I hope so. Hopefully you didn't just jinx us there, David. And, the wind's died down and is still sprinkling just barely. Not as bad as it was maybe a couple minutes ago.
James and Ashley Branson watching our ball game right now as that pitch is a called strike, and easily down to second base will go the Wildcat runner Hayden Morgan. So the Wildcats have runners in scoring position at second and third, and Matthew stands in with a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Here, Coach Free once again yelling instructions out to his base runners. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is hit well to left field and deep. It's over the left fielder's head all the way to the wall, and it goes over the fence. That is a home run, I believe, for Matthew Swigert. Matthew Swigert, a 3-run bomb, the first home run of the year for the Wildcats. A line shot. When the ball was first hit, I thought it had bounced over the fence, but by the reaction of his mama to my right here, very, very excited. The Wildcats put 3 on the board, a 3-run home run by Matthew Swigert. Line drive over the left field fence. Big, big hit there for Oak Ridge.
Yeah, he got a good piece that time, David. I really didn't think it was going over, but I'm looking at the flag out there in right field, and the wind is blowing. I'm not going to take credit. I think he did get a good piece of that. So, but the wind is blowing to left. I think the wind helped him, but regardless, he got a real good piece of the baseball that time. It was a good swing, good barrel, and he drives it over the fence. He's rewarded with a home run.
Yesterday, actually, as that pitch is fouled back, actually, Matthew was a home run away from hitting for the cycle yesterday. He had a single, a double, and a triple, but he has his home run here today, and I think it's a big one, a 3-run shot, and Oak Ridge leads the Dragons 6-1. So he was a home run away yesterday from the cycle. As Caden Black stands in, the pitch is hit foul once again back to the screen, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, David, Lowe got off to a quick start this inning. He struck out McNaughton and Updegraff to start off the inning, and since then it's been a complete 2-out rally by Oak Ridge here.
Black stands back in, no balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is high. I think Caden has taken 2 strikes, actually struck out twice, I believe, in the ball game. 0 for 2 on deck for the Wildcats, pitcher Jacob Franklin. So the Wildcats have put 4 on the board here in the 4th inning to lead it 6-1. And the pitch to the plate is on the inside corner, called strike 3. So that is the 3rd out of the inning, but a very productive inning for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge plates 4 runs on 2 hits. The big hit, the 3-run home run by Matthew Swigert, and the Wildcats lead the Dragons 6-1, and we'll be back to Clinton in a moment. David Clary back here along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate. Coach Branson's listening to the ball game. Neo, do you have anything to say to him?
How you doing?
That's all he had to say. As the Wildcats now have a 6-1 lead here as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Dragons, all of a sudden, it was a 2-1 ball game, Lee, but Wildcats line drive right off the roof of the Clinton dugout. Big inning for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and as I said, Lowe for Clinton got 2 quick outs via strikeout, and then Oak Ridge was able to have a massive 2-out rally to plate 4 runs, and credit to Matthew Swigert for his first career home run as an Oak Ridge Wildcat.
As an Oak Ridge Wildcat, as a senior, as I said, he could have hit for the cycle yesterday, but lacked that home run, 1 hop, and I don't know, you've never been to our baseball field, Lee, but it's enormous. I mean, and much bigger than the footprint of this Clinton field here. As the count now is no balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats on top 6-1, trying to sweep the Dragons and go 3-1 in District 3 play. That pitch is outside. Most incredible thing here, Matthew Swigert, I told you he came into this game 10 for 15 on the year, so now he is 12 for 17 on the year. That's an incredible start for the senior. Pitch is cut on a miss, and that is a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
David, that was a very dirty pitch by Jacob Franklin to get Ethan Tinker to strike out swinging. And I've liked Jacob Franklin's off-speed pitches tonight. I think he's been real effective with his off-speed and getting himself to off-speed counts. He's gotten himself to get ahead in the count.
I noticed he pitched just perfectly the other day against the Hall's Red Devils until the 7th inning, when I think he kind of ran out of gas a little bit. He had the Red Devils off balance in that ball game, ran out of gas, and unfortunately took the loss. One out here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 6-1 Oak Ridge, the Wildcats and the Ladies. We stream this game on YouTube. That pitch down low, a ball. Want to tell everybody that we're going to have our baseball show tomorrow on Channel 12, BBB Communications. It'll be a 7 o'clock start time, 7 to 8. Coach Travis Free will be joining us on the show. We'll also have a couple of seniors. He hasn't told me who's coming, as that pitch is high and inside, and the count now 3 balls and no strikes. Line drive shot. When he hit the ball, it was a shot. I didn't think it had a shot to get over the fence. I thought it actually had bounced over the fence, but you could tell by Matthew's reaction, he knew the whole way that ball was going out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he really got a good piece of the ball that time. He squared it up. He got the pitch he wanted and drove it over to the left fielder's head.
Pitch to the plate is down low, and that is ball 4. And that's one thing I know that the Wildcats don't want. Jacob didn't want to put runners on base here, and that's a leadoff or 1-out walk here for the Dragons. It's our first broadcast of Oak Ridge baseball, streaming the game from the Clinton Fairgrounds here. And the good news, ladies and gentlemen, should I say it or will I jinx us? It has quit raining here at Clinton's Fairgrounds here.
For now,
correct. As the batter steps in here, 1 out here, runner at first. Wildcats, as the Dragons have a courtesy runner, and you can read that lineup a little better than I can. Nope, Lee can't read it as well. And it isn't just my tired old eyes, as you pointed out in the basketball game the other day. As they have a runner at first, 1 out here. Jacob Franklin, sophomore pitcher, goes over to first. Jacob's got that flowing hair that goes all the way down to the top of his number, and he's the pitcher for the Wildcats. Neil, did you ever wear your hair that long?
No, I think it's just too nappy in my opinion. It's hard to take care of. Gets all curled up in the shower. It's kind of a pain.
That pitch is outside. 1 ball, no strikes to count. I'll have to ask old Jacob Franklin about his hair when I get a chance to interview him. I'm sure I will on our show. Runner first, 1 out here. The Wildcats up 6-1, bottom of the 4th inning. Here from Clinton. Dragon fans starting to make a little noise. One thing you can say about this umpire, and anybody who's ever listened to me knows I'm not the friendliest to officials. He's been very consistent. He's been very consistent with his strike zone.
Yes, he has, David. And that's one thing you want out of your officials, is just to be consistent.
Ball is hit in the air softly, caught by the second baseman Rosenberger, and that is out number 2. We have 135 people watching our broadcast here, which is, considering we never even advertised it, pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. I wasn't sure how many people were going to tune in, but 135. I mean, that's a lot. So maybe we'll keep doing this.
2 outs here in the 4th inning. Still a runner at first for the Dragons. Jacob Franklin still on the hill. He started the ball game. As I mentioned, he pitched 6 really strong innings at Halls last week and took the loss and lost it in the 7th inning. 1 ball, no strikes to count. I've lost my place on the since Lee has the book in front of me. Lee, who's batting?
Connor Moody for Clinton. As the ball gets away, it's going to go to the backstop. And Alex Salkill will advance to second on the pass ball.
And down to second he goes there. So they have a runner in scoring position, but there are 2 outs here. We're in the 4th inning in high school ball. If you're not familiar with the rules, they play 7 innings of baseball. And of course, if you're up by 10 runs after 5, that's the run rule. And of course, we're not even close to that right now, as Here's the pitch to the plate, hit foul over towards the left side. And the count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. Jeremy Miller and Jonathan Milloway are sitting in the Oak Ridge dugout. They are members of the Oak Ridge High School baseball team, just fresh off the basketball court. They will be playing soon for the Wildcats, but it's good to have them here. As the check of the runner at second, the pitch to the plate is hit foul back towards a blue Dodge Caravan van. And I heard a loud crashing noise, and hopefully, Lee, I'll be able to drive home without a smashed windshield.
Yeah, David, I think you parked far away, and I hope you did shut your door. That the PA announcer had to come over the intercom and tell you to shut your door.
Call strike 3, and that is out number 3 here in the 4th inning. The Wildcats lead at 6-1. I sent my good friend Neo Tate to close the door, and he took care of that little piece of work for me. 6-1 our score. We go to the top of the 5th inning here at Clinton Fairgrounds. The Wildcats in the lead. We'll be back on YouTube and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15 in a moment. David Clary back here along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate. The Wildcats on top of the Dragons 6-1. The Wildcats trying to beat the Dragons for the second consecutive day. Oak Ridge won yesterday's ball game 10-1. 7 strong innings from Logan Rosenberger in that one. So far, so good for Jacob Franklin. He's given up 1 unearned run to this point, and he'll be the leadoff man here in the 5th inning. 6-1 our score. Kind of refresh my memory on what Jacob has done today.
Jacob reached on an E1 on a ground ball back to the pitcher and grounded out to shortstop in his only 2 at-bats tonight.
Wind kind of picks up once again here from the fairgrounds here as Jacob Franklin steps in. Low still on the hill for the Clinton Dragons. On deck for Oak Ridge will be Logan Rosenberger. 3-run home run by Matthew Swigert, the big blow in the ball game. The Wildcats on top 6-1. Pitch to the plate is on the inside corner, but 2 inside, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. On the scoreboard, they have us with 3 hits, so a double by Matthew Swigert, a double by Caden Updegraft, and a home run by Matthew Swigert, but I think I'm going to give that other guy a hit too, a little infield hit over the top of the pitcher. 6-1 our score, 2 balls, no strikes to count. Cut on and missed. Air foul tip back to the screen. I took my eye away from it. And the count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. Rosenberger on deck here for the Wildcats. We appreciate you watching it. Actually, the batter, Jacob Franklin, stands in once again. And the pitch to the plate is on the outside corner at the knees, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Like I said, he's been very consistent there. I mean, right at the knees on the corners. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hit in the air foul, coming back our way again, and out of play. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-1 our score. We're in the 5th inning here from the fairgrounds in Clinton. It was a very nice warm day when we got here. The ball is hit well to deep right field. The right fielder back on it though. Circles and makes the catch for out number 1. Hit the opposite way, just not quite enough to get out, and that's out number 1.
Yeah, I think Franklin, he had a good backside approach that time, David. I think the ball just got caught up in the wind that time for the first out.
Logan Rosenberger is the batter here. And what has Logan done in this one?
He walked in the first inning and struck out looking in the 3rd.
Stands in, right-handed hitting Jr. swings and he misses at a high pitch, about shoulder level, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. The rain has completely quit here from the fairgrounds here. It is chilly, though, and that ball's hit on a couple hops past the third base coach of the Clinton Dragons, rolling dead around their dugout. And Logan finds himself behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. On deck for Oak Ridge is Alex McNaughton for the Wildcats. 1 out here, 6-1 Wildcats. Low to the plate. Cut on and foul tip. Back of the screen, and the count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Travis Free is the head coach. This is his 3rd year, I believe, as the head coach of the Wildcats. Obviously, they didn't get a chance to play much last year. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's called strike 3. Inside corner, and that is out number 2. So here comes Alex McNaughton with 2 outs. The Wildcats rallied for 4 runs with 2 outs in the previous inning. Let's see if we can get McNaughton to start things off here with 2 outs in the 5th. First pitch to him is fouled back to the screen. Love's been kind of off and on. I mean, he's looked really sharp for the most part, but he's given up 3 extra base hits, one of them a long one.
Yeah, he one thing I'm noticing, he's working quick here. We're having some trouble getting some side notes in here as he's already delivering the pitch here, and it's going to hit McNaughton. And let's see if we can get another 2-out rally going right here, David.
So Alex McNaughton is hit, and the batter for the Wildcats now will be Caden Updegraft. The junior will stand in. Had a double his first plate appearance. Like he's 1 for 2 in the ball game.
Had a double and struck out swinging in his last at bat, David.
And he'll stand in for the Wildcats, right-handed hitting junior. Only a second ball game back from basketball, as we mentioned that earlier. Good to have him back. We'll have Jeremy Miller and Jonathan Milloway. They'll be starting play here soon. I think I said this earlier, but I think Jeremy told me they're going to start on Thursday. We have a little time off here, recuperating from a long basketball season. Runner first base is Alex McNaughton. There's 2 outs. No count as of yet on the batter. Caden Updegraft. Hello's going to throw over there once again and easily back to the bag. Just a short lead anyway. He wasn't really far off the bag, so easily back goes McNaughton. And Caden stamps him once again. 5th inning. Pitch to the plate is hit well. Right side, deep to right field. To the wall it goes and takes one bounce to the rolls to the wall. Rounding third and coming around to score is McNaughton. And with his second double of the ball game is Caden Updegraft. And the Wildcats have a 7-1 lead. So 2 doubles in the ball game for Caden.
And there we go again, David. 2 quick outs, and the Oak Ridge gets a 2-out rally, a hit by pitch and a double that time, and it's 7-1 Oak Ridge.
And Lubikowski stands in. He is the first baseman. He is a junior. He spells his name Ludwowski. He's playing first base for the Wildcats. Caden Updegraft takes his lead off of second. 7-1 Wildcats here as we play here in the 5th inning. On deck for Oak Ridge is Bryson Parks as that one's fouled back to the screen. And the count is no balls and 1 strike.
Ludwikowski struck out looking his first at-bat and walked in his second at-bat.
We're streaming this game on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Tomorrow on BBB Channel 12, we will have the Covering the Bases show. That'll feature the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free, and a couple seniors as that pitch is low and outside, and the count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll try to do a spring sport show each and every Wednesday night in our football and basketball time slot, 7 to 8 on Channel 12 on Wednesday nights. We'll hope you'll tune in for that beginning tomorrow. Coach Free will be joining us on the show. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. We've got 2 outs. Caden Updegraft, the runner, down at second. He had a 2-out double, run-scoring double just a moment ago. Or actually, and McNaughton, I believe, came in to score the 7th run of the ball game. And as Lee said a moment ago, last inning the Wildcats played at 4 runs with 2 outs. The Wildcats have played at 1 already here in the 5th, and we've got a 3 ball, 1 strike count on the batter. So you didn't know it was going to rain, Lee.
I did not, David. Maybe it's my fault for not looking at the radar too close enough. But oh well, it is stopped now, thankfully.
Updegraff takes his lead. He's going towards third. That pitch is high. Here's the throw down to third, and he is in safely with a stolen base. It rolls around over towards the dugout of the Dragons, but not far enough. So Caden once again is in safely at third, and down to first on the 2-out walk will go the Wildcat first baseman. And now the batter will be the catcher once again. That'll be Bryson Parks.
David, Bryson Parks walked his first at bat and doubled in his second at bat, as we're going to have a mound visit here by the Clinton coach. I guess he's going to tell his pitcher to maybe settle down, throw some strikes here, but it's been another 2-out rally here in the fifth inning as Oak Ridge is on top 7-1. I'm not seeing any action in the Clinton bullpen, so it looks like they're going to keep they're going to bring in the left fielder here. So we're going to have a pitching change, David.
While we have a moment, Lee, why don't you go over what has happened so far in the ballgame?
Well, Matthew Swigert, I think we should start off by saying, had his first career home run. That came in the fourth inning. So far tonight, Swigert has a double, a home run, and grounded up to shortstop. Swigert has scored 2 runs. Caden Black has struck out looking all 3 times. Jacob Franklin reached on a E1, grounded out to short, and flew out to right field in his 3 at-bats so far. Logan Rosenberg has walked and has struck out looking in his other 2 plate appearances. Alex McNaughton has struck out swinging twice and was hit by a pitch and just came around to score for that run we just had here in the fifth. Caden Updegraff has 2 doubles and strikeout swinging. Bryce Ludwikowski has struck out looking and walked. He's actually walked twice. And Bryson Parks, as I mentioned moments ago, has walked and hit a double. And Hayden Morgan has been hit by a pitch and has a single that it looks like Clinton gave an error, but we gave him a hit. It was that ball that he maybe got hit. He fisted it to the pitcher and it maybe went under his glove. I thought he hit it hard enough. I thought it would have been a tough play for the pitcher to field it, but we gave him a hit. So we're going to give Hayden Morgan a hit. And it's 7-1 Oak Ridge here, and it looks promising so far, but Oak Ridge still a lot of baseball to be played here at Clinton as they've changed pitchers here.
See, I'm a little bit more generous. I know you were a pitcher. You pitched a lot when you were in high school, and pitchers never want to give up hits. They always want to have those unearned runs and those runners reaching base. But as a guy that likes the offensive side of baseball, and plus, that's my alma mater down there, I'm going to give hits a little bit more. I'm going to be a little bit more leaning towards the hit as opposed to an error.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. I guess us and Clinton are having a difference of statistical scorekeeping. I guess that's what we'll say. But Oak Ridge has done a nice job of putting the ball in play. Oak Ridge, when they put the ball in play, good things have happened. They've put the Clinton defense under pressure. They've had some 2-out rallies going. And that's one thing. If you can get hits and runs and generate walks with 2 outs, that's going to be pretty good. That's pretty promising if you're the Oak Ridge head coach. But you've got to be able to hit with 2 outs, and you've got to be able to get timely hits, which Oak Ridge has done here tonight, David.
Aaron Harrington is the new pitcher for the Dragons. He comes in from the outfield, and the batter now will be the catcher as that pitch is a ball. Here's a throw down to second on the stolen base. The Wildcats are going to steal a run. The catcher went through with the throw. The shortstop had cut off between the mound and the second base, but he couldn't make the play cleanly. And the Wildcats' Caden Updegraff comes in to score run number 8. So 2 runs with 2 outs here. And the Wildcats have Joey Weston down at second base once again. And we've got a 1-ball, no strike count on Bryson Parks. Bryson is the catcher for the Wildcats, and the pitch to him is down low, a ball. And the count now 2 balls and no strikes. As I mentioned, they made a pitching change just now. Aaron Harrington came in from left field to take over on the hill. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do some player interviews after the ball game. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and stay away for us for a little while longer. We're in the 5th inning. 8-1 Wildcats. Joey's going to third. Here comes the throw to third, and he's going to be out. If the tag is put on him, he missed him. The throw very easily beat the base runner, but he just wasn't able to apply the tag, Lee.
I mean, yeah, the ball definitely beat him, but it looked looks like the throw maybe took the third baseman for Clinton off the bag, and he didn't even hold on to the ball anyway. I think he went to tag, and the ball came out of his glove.
We got a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Bryson Parks. Another runner at third for the Wildcats here, but great to get him in. That ball, nice stop that time by the catcher. Pitched low in the dirt. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. On deck for the Wildcats, Hayden Morgan. Hayden is a senior, one of the few seniors on this roster. It's a pretty young team out there. I'll run through the seniors in a minute. You know, we haven't seen Milloway and Miller. They're seniors. But as here's the 3-1 pitch is hit on the ground softly to the pitcher. Harrington fields it, throws on the first, and throws the ball away, and the Wildcats score yet another run. And down to second will go Bryson Parks. The Wildcats have scored 3 runs with 2 outs here in the 5th inning, and the Wildcats now lead at 9-1 lead. So pitcher did a good job. He just came in, and this was the first man he had faced. He fielded it cleanly, had plenty of time to throw, and just threw it wildly, and it went past the first baseman, and it's another run for the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge has yet another runner in scoring position, and Jason Slay will run for him.
Yeah, Harrington, the pitcher for Clinton, I mean, he fielded it cleanly, had time. I don't know, maybe he thought he didn't have enough time. He had more time maybe than he thought. Ends up throwing it down the right field line, and it's going to be another run for Oak Ridge, and once again, another 2-out rally here.
Hayden Morgan, the batter for the Wildcats, stands in. Oak Ridge on top now 9-1 as we play here in the top of the 5th inning. Big lead out there for Slay. Second base. The second baseman sneaks in behind him. Here's the pitch to Hayden. It's down low a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Matthew the Hammer Swigert is on deck for the Wildcats. A double and a home run. As I mentioned yesterday, had a single, a double, and a triple. Just missed the hitting for the cycle without the home run. Once again, Slay takes a big lead off of the bag at second, and he's going. And here's the pitch. It's hit well, but on one hop, it's going to be fielded by the shortstop, who is shaded over towards the bag at second base. And he makes the play, makes a perfect throw to first, and that is out number 3. 9-1 our score. The Wildcats on top of the Clinton Dragons. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning here at the Fairgrounds in a game that you might be watching. Hopefully you're watching on our Prep Radio channel YouTube. District 3 ball game. The Wildcats trying to go 3-1 in District 3 play. They split with Halls, trying to sweep the Clinton Dragons. 9-1 Wildcats. Back in a moment. David Clary back here at the Clinton Fairgrounds here along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate. Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top 9-1 in this baseball game from Clinton. 9-1 our score. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. And the Dragons will be facing Jacob Franklin, who begins his 5th inning of work here. And here's the first pitch. The pitch is low and outside.
Blake Lowe, the batter, he had that bunt attempt where he popped it up to the pitcher, his last at bat for his only at bat here tonight.
1 ball, no strikes to count. I'd like to say hello to Tyler Carr watching our games. The ball's hit on the ground to Caden Black, fields it cleanly, throws on the first in time for out number 1. Nice play out there by the freshman shortstop. And that's out number 1 here in the 5th inning. 9-1 our score. Lee?
Well, nice job by Franklin to, get ahead in the count, get a ground ball, and let your defense do the work. Trust your defense, and, you've got an 8-run lead. Trust your defense. Throw some strikes here.
Dragons stand in once again. One out here in the fifth. 9-1 our score. The Wildcats have the leads. That pitch is cut on and kind of a half-hearted swing, and it is a strike anyway, and the count is no balls and one strike.
This is Mac Lowe. He hit a hard line drive that was caught by Caden Updegraft over there at third base last at bat.
Resulted in a double play as that pitch is hit on the ground to Caden right at the bag. He's got a slow runner. He's got time. The throw is not in time. And that is the first hit of the ball game, I believe, for the Clinton Dragons, as the ball was hit softly on the ground right at the bag. Caden fielded it and kind of had trouble picking it up initially, and they were able to reach base safely. So Lowe, although they have yet to give him a hit on that one, and they haven't put it up on the board. So we'll go with the home scorekeeper here as Franklin has a base runner at first. One out here, and the pitch is hit foul over towards Caden Updegraft over at third. And the count is no balls and one strike.
This is Logan Thomas. He struck out swinging in his first at-bat of the night. That came back in the third inning.
Neo Tate's doing our camera work here. We're going to have a runner at first base for the Clinton Dragons. And you've got the roster here. And let me know. It's hard to read it. I think his name is Hall. I think that's what they just said. So Hall is running at first for the Dragons. It's they gave us, and Neil did it. We'd like to thank Neil. Actually got all our rosters here, but the Clinton lineup, the printing, it's one of those kind of pads where they give one sheet to the umpire, one sheet to the opposing coach, and one sheet to the press box, and leaves another sheet. And it's the last sheet, and the imprinting on it was very, very faint, so it's hard to read their roster. They do give a hit to that young man, so the no hitter is gone. And just kind of a tough play. And the ball was not hit really that hard, but it was in a perfect spot right at the bag at third.
Yeah, that was a tough play. I think it may have hit that lip where the grass and the dirt meet, and it was going to be a tough play for Caden to make anyway. But, this is Jacob Franklin's only hit of the ball game. He's pitched well tonight, David.
No balls, two strikes, the count. Franklin checks the runner, short lead at first. The pitch is bunted to Caden Updegraft, fields it. Plenty of time to throw, kind of low throw. Out is recorded. Here's the throw down the third, and he is out just got in because the ball bounced away from the Wildcat shortstop. Almost had another base running blunder by the Dragons. It would have been another double play, I believe, if he had held on to it. But the Wildcats do record the out at first on the bunt by the Dragon. And now there's two outs here in the fifth. And once again, they've got a runner at third base. Lee?
This is going to be James. I hope I'm saying this right. Ebud. Again, we can't really read the lineup card that well, but he reached on an E5 his last at bat.
Called strike to start him out with. Jacob Franklin pitching well. Pitched well against Halls. I've said that several times in the broadcast. He just kind of lost it in the seventh inning. Lost his control a little bit. That pitch is hit right back to him. Nice play. He's going to come home. I don't know about that, but they do get the tag of the runner at the plate. He went the short route and got the out, and that is out number 3. So the Dragons get a runner at third. They have him thrown out at the plate for the third out of the fifth. We go to the top of the sixth inning. We are live at the Clinton Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee. Broadcasting on YouTube on our Prep Radio channel. 9-1 Wildcats. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to the Clinton Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee, as we're broadcasting Oak Ridge Baseball on YouTube on our Prep Radio channel. My name is David Clary, Lee Wexler, along with Neo Tate. Matthew Swigert's going to lead things off here in the 6th inning. Lee?
Well, Matthew Swigert's going to lead off, David. We just calculated his batting average. He's batting .706 to start off the year. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a double and a home run in this ball game, and he's going to stand in, leadoff man for the Wildcats. He's a senior, had a really good football season as well, had a really long interception return for a touchdown in the Carnes football game, and he swings and he misses. Swinging for the fences for back-to-back, and he swings through that one, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. 9-1 Wildcats here as we play here in the top of the 6th inning. Broadcasting on YouTube. Our viewership has dropped a little bit, maybe because of the score. Maybe our Clinton friends have dropped off since it's 9-1, as that pitch is a little bit high and inside. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Caden Black is on deck for Oak Ridge, freshman. As I mentioned, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hit on the ground softly to the third baseman. Fields it, fumbles it, throws on the first, and not in time. So Matthew Swigert uses his speed and beats it out. And the Wildcats have their leadoff man on once again. And the batter will be the shortstop for the Wildcats, Caden Black. Caden's had a tough one to start this ball game.
Yeah, he's had a tough night. He struck out looking all 3 times, and maybe he'll get something good to hit here.
Matthew Swigert is the base runner. Down at first base. Good speed at first. Lefty stands in there. 0 for 3 in the ball game. Pitcher Jacob Franklin on deck. That pitch is hit well, though. Center field. Center fielder was playing shallow, and there's a collision, but the catch is made, and Swigert has to go back. The center fielder was playing very shallow, but I believe it was actually the shortstop who went over and made a nice diving catch, ran into his center fielder and held on.
Yeah, that was a tough play out there. It was kind of hitting no man's land, and the shortstop makes a good play. I've been involved in an outfield collision before, and usually that happens because of a lack of communication. Someone didn't call the ball, but it looks like they're going to be okay, as there's one out here in the top of the 6th.
Wildcats on top 9-1. Swigert's still the base runner. And here comes the runner going. Here comes the throw down, and he is in safely with a stolen base. So the Wildcats, Matthew Swigert swipes the base, and I believe that's his first steal of the night. And we've got a no ball, 1 strike count on the pitcher for the Wildcats, Jacob Franklin. On deck for the Wildcats, Logan Rosenberger. Runner at second. Wildcats up 9-1 as we play here in the 6th inning. Matthew takes his lead. It's a good lead. He's heading towards third, and no throw this time. Kind of was skipped away from the catcher. He caught it, but he had no shot in the world to get Matthew. So the Wildcats have a runner now at third with 1 out and a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Jacob Franklin.
Hey, David, this is actually going to be Matthew Swigert's 3rd stolen base. I have written down he stole 3rd in the 1st inning and scored on a throwing error from the catcher. So good wheels out there on the base path for Matthew Swigert.
What a game he's had, too. I mean,
yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's had obviously knocked in 3 runs, has scored a couple runs here. And he's down at third base now with 1 out and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. That's why you have the book, and that's why I'm just holding this microphone. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Jacob Franklin. Jacob's pitched really well in this ball game. I haven't mentioned that enough here. They've hardly gotten the ball out of the infield. We'll talk about that in a second. He swings, hits the ball on the ground, and that's going to play to run. Fielded by the shortstop, and just in time to retire Jacob Franklin for out number 2. But the Wildcats have another run. That is an RBI for Jacob Franklin, and he now leads the Dragons 10-1, the exact same score the Wildcats won by yesterday.
Yeah, he just hits a weak ground ball to the left side, and was able to get a run in, and now the Wildcats have made it to the same scores that they won last night, 10-1.
Ball's hit well to left field. The left fielder in on it. Goes over his head once again. He's had trouble all night. Rosenberger rallying first, heading towards second, and he will go in with a stand-up double. Left fielder, and I was always taught Lee, first step, is back, and his first step is in, and the ball is going to sail over his head several times.
Yeah, as an outfielder, you're taught from a very young age your first steps need to be back, and it looks like the left fielder maybe froze. His first step was in, and when you see the left fielder turn his back, that's usually a pretty good sign because that means the ball is going over his head.
10-1 our score. The Wildcats would love to run rule the Dragons here. They need another run here, and then 3 outs in the bottom of the inning here. The Wildcats, there's a base hit to left field. It's going to drop in. Here comes Rosenberger rounding third. Here comes the throw way off the mark, and the Wildcats are up 10. So just like that, we've got an RBI, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 11-1. And the run rule in effect here if the Wildcats can get 3 outs in the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, McNaughton that time, he just got it off the end of the bat and nevertheless found a good spot and drove in the run. And Wildcats are up 10. Like you said, the run rule effect is now in play. They're up by 10 after 5. We're in the 6th inning, however.
11-1 our score as the Wildcats stand in once again. Another runner in scoring position. Harrington's struggling here in this one. Here's the pitch. High and inside. The batter is Caden Updegraff. Caden's had a good ball game. 2 doubles. I remember that.
Yeah, 2 doubles and a strikeout so far tonight for Caden.
Yeah, Caden's just kind of stepped off the basketball court and stepped right in and has done really good work for Coach Travis Free's Wildcats. 11-1 Oak Ridge. Wildcats 3 outs away from their 3rd district win. Here's the runner going to 3rd. Here's the throw down, and that is a stolen base for Alex McNaughton. And the Wildcats have another runner at 3rd. Really, the Wildcats, the whole ball game, have taken advantage of the pitching slow to the plate and the catcher behind the plate, and they've just been running all over the Dragons.
Yeah, the Clinton pitchers have had slow times to the plate, and if you can time it up, you can steal all day, and that's what Oak Ridge has done.
That pitch is high and inside to Caden, and the count now 3 balls and no strikes. Good crowd on hand here at the fairgrounds. There'll be a junior varsity game after this. We had a huge crowd yesterday at Bobby Hopkins Field. 11-1 Oak Ridge. Here's the pitch to the plate. There's a called strike at the knees. And Caden Updegraff has a 3-ball, 1-strike count. 2 outs. Wildcats on top 11-1 in this one. Trying to knock off their rivals from the other side of the county, the Clinton Dragons, here on their home field. Sweep the season series. That pitch is a called strike at the knees, taking all the way there, it looked like. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Caden steps back in once again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. That's called strike 3. And that is out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Dragons need a run or this game will go to the Wildcats. 11-1 our score. We'll be back on YouTube in a moment. David Clary along with Lee Wexler, Neo Tate here at the Clinton Fairgrounds, Clinton, Tennessee. Rain has stopped here. The runs haven't stopped, though, Lee. The Wildcats are up 11-1.
It's been an offensive explosion here again for the Wildcats as they're up 11-1. And if Jacob Franklin can get 3 outs here, the game's going to be over here in the 6th inning via run roll.
Jacob Franklin only needs to get 3 outs here, and he'll record the victory here, and he will go to 2-1 on the year, but I think he'll probably get the victory, whether it happens this inning or next, unless something drastic happens here. Logan came into this game 1-1 on the year. He had pitched 7 innings, had given up 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, had only walked 2. His control had been good in terms of walks, but he hit 6 guys. A couple of them in that Hallswell game, as he had 6 strikeouts as well. As ERA is 4.0, and he has given up no earned runs in this one. Their lone run is an unearned run in this one. And the first pitch is he tried to bunt it and missed it. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. If you're up 10 after 5, that is a ball game. That's what the Wildcats are hoping to do right here, trying to finish it off in the 6th inning, up 11-1. The pitch is hit well. That's a base hit in the left field. Hard hit, the hardest hit ball of the night for the Clinton Dragons, Lee.
Yeah, that ball was hit well to the left side. I think Franklin may have left that one over the middle of the plate, but maybe he can get a ground ball and they can roll 2 here.
11-1 our score. Nobody out here. Runner at first. 11-1 our score. Right-handed hitter stands in against the Wildcats. Jacob Franklin, sophomore pitcher for the Wildcats, comes to the plate with the runner going. Quick throw down. That is a stolen base easily for the Clinton Dragons. So the Dragons have a runner in scoring position, threatening the 10-run rule here as he's in scoring position. Let's see if Jacob can batten down the hatches here and kind of keep him from scoring. Good lead out there at second base. Shortstop Black comes in behind him a little bit, and Franklin steps off the mound, has words with his third baseman Caden Updegraff to kind of get clear on who's gonna cover the bunt, just in case here. I wouldn't be surprised they lay one down here. 11-1 our score. Runner at second. And here's a throw, and they've got him picked off with ease. Great play, Oak Ridge. So just like that, another mistake, base running mistake by the Clinton Dragons, and that takes that runner off the bags and is 1 out now.
Well, that was a very smart play by Jacob Franklin, doing the inside moves where you pick your leg up and you cross over to go to second base. And they had Harrington picked off all the way from here to Oak Ridge. That was a big-time pickoff move.
11-1 our score. Now there's 1 out here, and here's the pitch to the plate. It's hit well again, this time to right field, and they'll have another hit there. I think the ball was hit hard enough that he probably wouldn't have scored, but they would have had runners on the corners with nobody out had he not been picked off, but now they've got a runner at first with 1 out.
Yeah, it makes that pickoff move look even more big if you were able to steal it out. And that's 2 back-to-back hard-hit balls. Hopefully Franklin's not getting tired. His pitch count's up as he's thrown 5 1/3 so far.
And what has this young man done in the ballgame?
Alex Sawkill has grounded out to second and walked in his only 2 at-bats tonight.
Throw over to first and back safely. Goes the base runner. 6th inning, 11-1 Oak Ridge. Jacob Franklin still pitching here. Short lead off of first. He checks the runner at first and comes to the plate. There's a called strike at the knees. 1 out here. The Wildcats up by 10. As we mentioned, the Wildcats can get 2 more outs without a run scoring for the Dragons, and we can head it back to the Ridge with another victory here. Jacob Franklin goes over to first, and it's a high throw, but back to the bag. A short lead once again.
I know it's getting late here, David, and Franklin, he's still continuing to throw first pitch strikes. You like to see that out of your pitchers. First pitch strikes throughout the entire game.
Yeah, he's been pretty much on it the whole time. Lead off of first, not going. Here's the pitch. A little off-speed pitch there. Outside, a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Eager to talk to Jacob after the ball game, maybe Matthew and Coach Free as well. We're also going to be talking to some people on, let's see if we're on the air. As the pitch is hit on the ground to the pitcher, checks the runner, has the runner at second. Here's a double play, and the ball game is over. So that's a 1-6-3 double play, and the Wildcats have defeated the Clinton Dragons by a final score of 11-1. The Wildcats sweep the season series against the Clinton Dragons, and the Wildcats win it by a score of 11-1. Big win, good defensive play there, Lee Wexler, to close out the ball game.
Yeah, it was, Dave. It was a good night for Jacob Franklin as he faced a slow ground ball, fired it over to second base, and they were able to turn a game-ending double play. It was a good night all around for the Wildcats. They swung the bat well. They played good defense, pitched it well, and they got some timely hits. Did a lot of things well, and hopefully they can continue to build on that. I know it's still early in the season, but I liked what I saw here.
It by a score of 11-1. So congratulations, the Wildcats sweep the season series, and hopefully we'll get a chance to have some player interviews here. I know Coach Free will have a short conversation with his Wildcat team. Take a quick break here. We'll come back with the totals of the ball games, hopefully with some player interviews and Coach Free. Oak Ridge wins it 11-1. We'll be back in a moment.
With stats.
We're live here at the Clinton Fairgrounds. The Wildcats have just defeated the Clinton Dragons by a final score of 11-1. That was the final here. The Wildcats with a 1-6-3 double play to close out the ball game. That was Franklin to Black to Lubakowski, and the Wildcats had enough offense, had some great pitching by Jacob Franklin, and we're going to get a chance to speak to Mr. Franklin here in a minute. And we'll get a little player interview here. We'll get him up here. And he's going to come up in a minute. Coach Free's going to talk to him for a second. I'm going to get a chance to talk to him. And Neo, since I'm so ugly, when Franklin comes over here, just put the camera on him when I'm interviewing him here. So he'll be up to talk with us. Really good night's pitching. I mean, he gave up officially only one hit, 2 hits actually, maybe 3, as I'm thinking they had 2 in the last inning. We'll have the full totals here in a few short moments. And but Lee, it was just a good win for the Wildcats here. Some shaky defense for the Clinton Dragons helped out Oak Ridge, but the Wildcats for the most part hit the ball well and really got some really good pitching.
Yeah, they did. I think what comes to my mind is the big 2-out rallies they had in the 4th and 5th innings there. The low for Clinton got 2 quick outs in back-to-back innings, and the Wildcats were able to get, I believe they got at least 7 of their runs tonight came with 2 outs. And I'd have to look at the stats again, but I know at least 6 or 7 runs came with 2 outs. So that's a positive sign I saw from the Wildcats tonight. I thought they swung it well. Matthew Swigert, I know, swung it well. But yeah, it was a good night. They relied on Clinton. Maybe Clinton had a little shaky defense. reached on an E5, and also reached on a fielder's choice. Or excuse me, didn't reach. It was third out. It was a fielder's choice as the third baseman for Oak Ridge made the final out at home plate. So only 2 hits given up by Jacob Franklin tonight, as Oak Ridge is victorious 11-1.
And we're going to get Jacob Franklin up here, maybe Matthew Swigert. Hopefully he'll remember to come up here. He is the winning pitcher, the Wildcats. And don't let Matthew Swigert get out of here. We're going to talk to him. Actually, let's get him to stand there, and we'll let him use your mic so we'll social distance it here a little bit. I don't want to be accused of getting the starting pitcher. So Jacob Franklin, congratulations on the win. Talk about the victory over the Dragons.
I was expecting, when I came out, I was expecting just to dominate in the first inning and go out right at them, come up with the 2-seam straight away, come with breaking balls later. Just mindset.
You're not really what you call a hard thrower. I mean, you keep them off balance. You've got a good fastball, but for the most part, you kind of are good with your control and good with your off-speed pitch. Is that your strength as a player?
Strength, I would say, is definitely movement and location for what I'm pitching. I know when I'm on the mound, I'm not the hardest thrower that's going to be against you. I'm not going to throw high 80s. I'm just going to locate my fastball and slider best I can.
You're only a sophomore. You got a good start the other day against the Halls Red Devils. Could be 3-0 right now. I mean, kind of. Did you run out of gas a little bit there in the 7th inning?
In the 7th inning of the Red Devils game, I definitely started to get tired. And 90, running up to 100, 100 final for that game. Definitely was getting laborish in the last inning, but tried pulling it through and I couldn't pull.
You had a no-hitter going into the end of this ball game. They barely hit the ball hard against you. It had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, it felt great. When I was turning around, it was always coming at me, or it was a slow roller to third or short. Definitely as a team have to make those plays, but I'm happy with how the day went.
What about Matthew Swiger's big day? I mean, he's been just roping it the whole season.
Going into this game, we knew Matthew was going to have a great game. We were in batting cages, batting practice before we came here. We were definitely expecting a big game from Matty today.
Well, Jacob, good luck on the rest of the way. I'm going to get Matthew in here. Congratulations on the win. It's Jacob Franklin. He was the winning pitcher. Matthew Swigert now joins us. Matthew, you're hitting a cool 700 and something. Great start for your senior year.
Thank you.
Talk about it. I mean, I know it's your senior year, so it's your last hurrah here. What have you done different to prepare for this season?
So usually in football, when football comes around, I just take baseball off completely, just focus mainly on football. But this year with offers being low because of COVID and colleges being hard to look at others because our season was canceled, I knew I had to hit at least twice a week and put extra reps in.
Yesterday in the Clinton ball game, you were a home run away from the cycle. You had a single, a double, a triple. You got your home run here tonight, your first career home run as a Wildcat. How was that for you?
That was crazy. I knew coming in that Clinton's fence was a little shorter than most, so it was definitely in the back of my mind, but my job is to get on steal bases, so it was a good thing to do.
I wasn't sure. Actually, I didn't think it went out at first. It was a kind of a line shot, but I could tell by the way you were running, you knew it was gone, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was going to bounce off the fence, so I knew if I was jogging, Coach would scream at me, so I just ran as fast as I could, and then I saw it out. So
you also had a leadoff double too. You stole 3 bases in the ball game. You didn't really get tested in the field, but who cares, right? I mean, you win the ball. What's it like sweeping the Dragons as we always do?
Oh, it's got to take care of business with them. Their goal for their season is to beat us. Our goal is to win district. So,
Matthew, your senior year, are you going to move on and play after?
That's the goal. It's undecided right now, but that's the goal.
Talk about this team. I know you're one of few experienced seniors. You got, Milloway's going to be coming along a little bit later on. You got Hayden and some others, but for the most part, it's a young team you're out there with. What's that like?
Mostly they want to work, and like not all their spots are are solidified, and so they all want to work. They all want to get better every day, and so I think that's really good for us. And they want to learn, they get better, and so they're hungry.
What about Caden just coming off the basketball court and getting 2 or 3 hits?
Well, I'm proud of him because he was doing what I was doing in football. He was hitting during basketball season, trying to get as much as he can. So when he comes baseball, he's ready.
Well, Matthew, I appreciate it, and congratulations on the win.
Thanks, sir.
That is Matthew Swigert. Now if we can get the head coach of the Wildcats, Travis Free, up here, and we'll let him be on camera there. Coach, good win. Anytime you get a district win on your opponent's field, anytime you beat the Dragons is good. I know the guys like that, but for you, I know it's a district win. It's important.
That's right. It's just try to be business as normal. Honestly, just try to win the games that we can win and play our best. I mean, it's really just about getting better as we go through the year. And I think we took a step forward this week. We've been in a lot of games for the last 6, but we finally found a way to kind of close it out and kind of get a win the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I was talking to Jacob in the 7th inning at Halls last week. He just kind of ran out of gas a little bit, or he might be sitting at 3-0 right now.
Well, Jacob, he completed the whole game, 6 innings. He threw 70 pitches with his pitch count tonight, which is unbelievable, really. Well, that's pretty efficient considering we had 3 infield errors behind him. That probably adds 6, 7 pitches. We should be around 60. And that's unheard of. We were going to try to keep his pitch count down tonight. We were going to try to keep him below 85 tonight, but he did that on his own, and he just finds ways to compete, man. He's just a competitor.
One thing about your team, and I say this respectfully, there's not a whole lot of physical specimens out there. They're not a lot of big guys, but what I've noticed in the games that I've seen here, you use your speed, and you do the little small ball things, and you got the home run tonight from Matthew, and you got a couple doubles from Caden, but for the most part, it's running, using your speed, and small ball, basically.
Well, our whole offense is designed around, we're going to find a way to get to third base as fast as possible. So I knew that we weren't going to bang balls off the wall. We weren't going to hit a lot of home runs. Anytime we get a home run out of Matthew tonight, I mean, we'll probably hit 5 home runs on the whole year. So we're not built like that, and I know that, but we are built fast. And we do run fast, and we spend a lot of time working at that so that we're prepared for those things.
One thing that I was talking to Matthew there, and he said, the difference between this year and previous years for him is that he has been working on baseball during football season, and obviously Caden has been hitting the ball during basketball season because they, a couple base hits for Caden tonight, 2 doubles, and Matthew's just been roping it, batting over 700 right now, so...
Matthew's off to an unbelievable start, but if you look at Matthew, he's probably put on 15 pounds of muscle. He hits. I mean, he's the first one at the field. I mean, it's not on accident that Matthew's off to the start he is. He hits indoors all winter. He's been hitting, ever since football season, he's hitting. So it's no accident. I mean, the game rewards those who grind, and he's a grinder, and that's why he's off to such a great start.
Coach, we're going to talk more, I think, on the television show tomorrow if you're able to do that with us. But we'll talk more about everybody else on the team. But just give me your final comments on this win tonight.
Well, I think that we struggled early. This guy, our scouting report on him says that he wasn't going to be quite as good as he was today. And I thought that he was throwing the ball a little harder than I probably prepared our guys. So I kind of reconvened him and said, guys, this coming a little harder than I gave him credit for. He was running it in on us. But just like every time throughout the course of the year, what I'm proud of our guys is when we've been hit with adversity, we've overcome every time. No matter where we've been, every game we've been in, every game we've competed, and we've not backed down, which is different Oak Ridge baseball. It's totally different. That's why I was just telling our guys, I mean, there's no reason we can't be a baseball school too. There's no reason we can't compete for a championship. There's no reason we can't. The only reason we don't do that is because people say you can't. But only inside of here, and I'm so proud of them, they're playing championship level baseball. They're doing the little things to win, and when we get to third base, we're scoring them, and that's what winning baseball is about. Also, Matthew got a big 2-out hit there. And then we kind of overlook Alex McNaughton 2-out hit right there that put the game to 10. I mean, those are winning things. Those are winning parts of the game that people kind of overlook that don't pay attention to it. But that's why I'm so proud of these guys and what they've done so far.
Coach, thanks a lot. Congratulations. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the television show.
Can't wait.
That's Coach Travis Free. He's the head coach of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge beats the Dragons by a final score of 11-1. Lee, any final comments here?
Well, I think what stands out to me is the pitching. I think first and foremost, when you get a pitching a pitching performance like that from Jacob Franklin, you're going to be successful in a lot of ball games, and they need Jacob Franklin to continue throwing the way he did tonight. They need him throwing like that the remainder of the season. We saw a lot of offense tonight. I thought Oak Ridge was really good with 2 outs. As I said earlier, I think at least 6 to 7 runs came with 2 outs. You gotta be good with 2 outs. You gotta be able to move guys around, hit behind runners, get guys in scoring position, and get timely hits. That's what helps successful teams make a long postseason run, and that's where, as Coach just mentioned, why can't Oak Ridge be a baseball school? They play good baseball here, so that's the things you need to do to be successful long term. I saw it of Oak Ridge tonight.
11-1 is the final score, Lee. I appreciate your help. I guess you've done all the stats already. Neo, you have any final comments?
Not anything that's already been said. I mean, it was a great game, great fun to watch.
So that about does it here from the Clinton Fairgrounds. We appreciate you watching our broadcast, and I appreciate Neo and Lee for sitting out in the rain with me a little bit, and all of you watching at home on our Prep Radio channel on YouTube. Once again, the Wildcats' next ball game will be coming up on Thursday when the Wildcats travel to Fulton, and Friday the Wildcats will take on the Cookeville Cavaliers. For Lee and Neo, once again reminding you of the final score, the Wildcats beat the Clinton Dragons here in Clinton by a final score of 11-1. This is David Clary saying so long, everybody.